Good morning DPS-Mis. I'm Azhar Jaleel from 11C.
And I'm Daiwik from Tthe.
We're from Eloquence, the school's publication club, and today we're back with another episode. We're talking to our very own beloved principal ma'am, Miss Asna Nafees. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, children.
So ma'am, let's start off this interview. Could you please take us on your journey from being a student of zoology to becoming one of the most successful principals ever known to the Middle East?
Thank you so much for those kind words. I really don't think I deserve that much of appreciation. Yes, I'm doing my duty and I think I'm doing it pretty well. If I just reflect on my childhood, it was a very beautiful childhood. Unlike the childhood that today's children spend, we spent a lot of our time outdoors. Our parents encouraged us to do a lot of other activities. Fortunately for me, I grew up in a town which was an industrial town, so we had a lot of interaction with various people from different parts of India. So it helped us to build up the fact of respecting religion, culture, the value systems, the traditions of different type of people from different backgrounds, the different languages that they speak. And we went to a school that definitely was headed by a very powerful principal, Mrs. Bennett. And I still remember that she single-handedly managed the entire show at the school, and she was a big motivating factor for us. She came from a background which was in those days, or even today we call it as the Anglo-Indian background. So we were brought up reading a lot of books, doing a lot of activities, and all these things helped mold us into better people. And at home, our parents gave a lot of importance to character building, value building, rather than marks and who we are going to be tomorrow or what career we are going to opt for. I think these type of things really helped us a lot in having a free hand at what we would want to do with our life. And as I grew up, I realized that science was something that I loved, equally a lot English. But at that point of time, science overtook, and I started studying zoology at college, university, undergraduation. And I excelled very well at college. In my undergrad program, I was a very average student, or an above average student, up to grade 12. But at my undergraduate level, I topped the university with some reason, I don't know why, probably the choice of subjects or the way the subjects were handled, that I suddenly excelled and I found my footing. Then from being a student of zoology to being a principal, the journey has been a very long journey. It all started with a keen determination to do something which is productive. And I would say, it's not always that what you plan you receive, but what you receive, you should use it sensibly. So the plan in place for me was that I would want to become a bureaucrat. I wanted to clear my IAs. I was working towards it. But then life had something else in store for me. I was married pretty young, and then I realized that if I have to do the work-life balance, I already had a baby at the age of 20, 21, probably an age when children are at schools and colleges. I was in college in my final year, and I already was a mother of my first child. So I decided to change course. I pursued my post-graduation in zoology, and I thought it would be a waste of energies if I sat at home, so I started working as a teacher. And there's a small anecdote to that also, that how I became a teacher. When I went for the admission of my own child, the principal there realized that there's a teacher in me. Probably I didn't realize it, and she said, why don't you join? And I started my career from there. And it's been a very, very wonderful journey of learning and gaining experience. And yes, I'm very happy that at a very young age, I was just 35, and I started heading a school, which for many would be a dream, and it was made possible by the hard work, determination, and the blessings of everyone around me. So being the principal is definitely a challenging task, but it's also fun.
Definitely. So now, what in particular made you realize that education was your calling from zoology, as opposed to just choosing any other field? Because us as students, we tend to always choose STEM-related fields. Science and math is all that we know in our generation.
Yeah, when I was very young, and I still continue to, I'm sure in the campus you see the little cats and the kittens that are around, I'm hovering around them. Animals always was something that I was attracted to, and I thought probably In those days, I didn't have the definition of science. I thought if I studied zoology, I would study and be around animals, not realizing that there's a lot of theoretic things around it. But then that was the love that attracted me towards zoology. I wanted to know more about how animals, how the animal kingdom works, and what is its interaction with the rest of the world. So that was what attracted me towards this thing. And I've always had pets at home, and especially kittens. So we grew up having a pet at home.
What does a typical day in your life look like, and what's the thing that you look most forward to?
Yeah, a typical day, I think what you're hinting at is as a principal of a school.
Yes.
A typical day is obviously packed with a lot of action. I wake up very early. I strongly believe in spirituality. I believe that it gives you a lot of grounding, whatever religion you may be following. But if you are, grounded to it, and you follow a disciplined existence. So I wake up very early for the prayers in the morning, and then life starts from around 4:35 in the morning. And yes, of course, I look forward to coming to school and looking at the beautiful smiles and the happiness on the faces of the children who are excited to come to school is what motivates me every morning. And someday, if that motivation is lacking, probably that day I will think I've become a redundant principal. So I'm excited to come to school to see the young faces at school, the young children. It gives me a lot of motivation. Another thing that really excites me is my time spent with myself. And I spend a lot of time in the kitchen cooking. I love cooking, and I go to any extent to ensure that fresh food is available to the family and to myself. So both these things excite me a lot. Off late during the COVID times, I've started experimenting with a little painting, and that I think is the best my time that I have for myself.
So ma'am, you certainly have a lot of experience being principal of our school for so very long. So ma'am, in particular, what key lessons have you learned from being a principal, and what major experiences have you gained from it?
Yes, I would say that I've been heading the school for the longest time as a principal. We have had 3 principals in the school, and I've been there for almost 12 years now. And I've seen the school's journey from the old campus to this campus, and how the school has blossomed into a center of quality learning and quality activities that we do, a holistic school where we give a lot of importance to all types of things that are happening around. And we ensure the students are given the opportunities to explore and hone their talent. So as the principal, I would say that it's extremely exciting to see that you are able to bring a small change, even if it is a very small minor change among the young generation. That is a big motivating factor for me.
Definitely, ma'am. So as you mentioned, managing this whole school for over 10 plus years was an incredibly taxing affair. It certainly must have taken a lot of time, energy and effort from your side. So ma'am, in particular, as a principal, what was your biggest challenge while you were governing the school, and how did you overcome it?
Yes, I would say that I can't call it taxing experience. I would say it's a learning experience, because as you grow, the school, when it was in the previous campus in Rauta, we were about 3,000 students. And then we moved to the school 2013 permanently. We had an episode of moving and moving back and coming back. That was indeed a very challenging phase. But then when we came here, our quality spoke for itself, and we were able to grow to a strength of 5,830. Somewhere around 2017-18, we already had that strength. So when your strength grows, so does the departments, so do the departments, the manpower, the workforce that is required. So managing the entire gamut of affairs is definitely not an easy task, but at the same time it is very, very enjoyable if you're passionate about it. And for me, it's probably the passion that drives me. So I've never felt burdened on any particular day. I have not gone back thinking, what am I doing here? Am I relevant? Am I able to handle it? There's no self-doubt on that. So I feel that it's the passion that drives you. So challenges also look as opportunities for learning. Yes, of course, during the COVID times, I would say that there was this moment of doubt. Will we be able to go online within stipulated time given to us? And that was 5 days time given to us. But I must put on record that the excellent school management and the team of teachers and the entire admin and other staff we all came together as a family, and immediately we switched over to online education, quality online education, I would say, within 5 days. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we have overcome, because that was a hindrance for many of the schools. But the people who were associated with our school understood its value and immediately provided us with all the platforms required to ship. And the training for I think about 300 teachers was done online with COVID restrictions. Everybody was at home, but still they were trained to handle the situation. And within a week, we were rolling out our online classes successfully. So that I think is a great learning experience, because I still strongly believe anybody who has missed that platform or missed the transfer of trains during that COVID phase from teaching offline to teaching online is missed a great opportunity to be a good teacher.
I'm excited to know, looking ahead, what are your future plans for DPS-MIS?
Currently, I would say that with the clubs being introduced both in the junior and the senior school, there's been a lot of relevance of holistic development. Keeping in mind that the new NEP policy is talking about experiential learning, we have already started with that experiential learning. And I would say that this will have to be enhanced so that every single child gets an opportunity. Though we try very hard during our assemblies and every other activity that we do to give opportunities to our children, to every single child. What I feel very excited about is that our school believes in inclusion. We have a lot of students with, who come under or are marked under the same category. But the special education needs, as a way forward, I had been suggesting to the management that we must have an extension of our school where we start our own special education school. So probably someday when that sees the light of day, I will be very, very satisfied that the school has taken care of inclusion in its true sense. Yes, every single attempt is made. Every year we have students writing examinations under the special education needs category. But once we are equipped with the school, it will make a big difference to those students. Plus, what I feel is that we really have to relook at how we could enhance the experience of our students with sporting activities, because there are limitations to some extent with the space that we have and the numbers that we have. So we are trying to work on that and try and provide as many opportunities as possible for children.
Like we previously talked about, the pandemic was unprecedented, but from what we know and what we can predict, what should we expect from the future of the education system around 3 to 5 years down the line? For example, the role of technology is a lot greater now.
What has happened is that there is this word which is, often used with the American military, VUCA. It's a very unpredictable word. It's virtual, it's ambiguous, it's very uncertain world we are living in. And I think that uncertainty has now come into education also. What we probably thought was impossible has been made possible during the COVID times. The restrictions have made us understand that education need not be in the four walls of the school. It could happen otherwise also. And yes, of course, there's nothing to replace physical education, physical one-to-one teaching learning or offline learning. But yes, there are a lot of things that we learn during online that can be used positively for the future. And anybody who has kind of, taken it for granted that we can do away with technology is a person who's going to lose out in a big way. So we have to go hand in hand with technology. We have to upgrade ourselves to understand what's the latest in the market, because the learning style of children has also changed. They're not learning the traditional style, the way that we grew up probably learning, but it's today technology plays a major role, and if we don't go hand in hand with technology, we are definitely going to be losers. But at the same time, we're going to be bigger losers if we didn't put technology and morality together. These two have to go hand in hand so that we have a better generation tomorrow who's tech savvy, but at the same time grounded with morality.
What are your opinions on specific education system related issues? So affordability of education, quality of education, tuition culture, things of that sort.
When we are on this, I would definitely say that the COVID times have opened up the inequality in education to a bigger level. It has taken it up to another level, I would say, because already we believe that back home or anywhere in the world, education is still very unequal. It's not equitable to everybody. So during the COVID times, those who didn't have technology at home have definitely studied, or those who didn't have schools that could provide them with those platforms definitely suffered. So the gap has only increased with technology coming into picture. With regard to the tuition culture, I have vehemently put my foot down. Many of my addresses I have mentioned that it's a fad that, if I go to a tuition center, I would score better. What parents and students fail to understand is that independent learning is what is required, and once you go to university, no tuition culture is ever going to help you. So if you start that habit of learning by yourself, following the instructions given in a good school where you already are enrolled, and go back home and study, I'm sure that's all that you require. And I'm very proud to say that many of our students who are toppers are students who have never gone to tuitions but have studied only from school and worked at home. So if we look at those examples, I think it is possible that every single child can do this. And one of the major changes that we have brought in our school after I took up the institution is that at school there is no after school class, it's all remedial classes. Remediation helps a student better than a tuition helps. Anything else did I miss out on?
No, I think like affordability of education.
Affordability, see again, how equal are we in society? In every single way we are not equal, because the earning brackets of every single individual is different. So some may start with as minimum as 1,000 riyal and still survive, and some may reach up to a lakh of riyals and still be unhappy. So your affordability comes into pictures to where you want to study or where you want to see your child going to. So there is a big market that's available for schools also. There's public education, private education, a range of private education. So wherever I feel that my child is comfortable, yes, we can send the child. But on an average school should not be charging so high that education becomes unaffordable. And I think our school's fees is something that's very affordable for the quality of education that we are providing. Because when I see back home the fee structures, I still think that the service that we provide, the care that we give, we are charging very little for it.
Yes,
it's very, very affordable.
Ma'am, so in particular, recently we've seen a lot of rise in terms of student suicide rates, mental health issues, anxiety, depression. All of these things have just become the norm in our society, especially for teenagers. So ma'am, in particular, what do you believe are the solutions to such critical issues?
Yeah. Post-COVID, I would say that these issues have become very, very, heightened. It's not that we didn't have these issues, they were there, but they are coming into the limelight in a larger way or in a bigger picture, because what has happened is staying home without social interaction, with the pressures that everybody was going through, losing your loved ones, the pressure of work, the pressure of studies, probably it has only compounded the problem, and it's very in your face now, it's visible to everybody. My only humble advice to everyone who's a part of our school family or elsewhere also is that first learn to love yourself, understand that your worth is what you are. So you have to love yourself so much that nobody can ever make you feel small. The other thing is that a disciplined life. If I'm able to lead a disciplined life, a simple disciplined life is all that you require to keep yourself in control. Most of the issues are because children are getting addicted to online activities, addicted to games, and then when that is cut off, it's like oxygen is being cut off from there. So technology is there for us to use positively. We have to make it our slave, not that it becomes our master. So I think if we are able to live with self-discipline, create that culture within ourselves, have a proper time schedule for everything, these issues should be borderline. At the same time, if somebody is feeling low, feeling depressed, feeling sad, he must or she must approach a person who they can confide in, speak, and resolve the issues rather than bottle it up till it blows out of proportion. I don't invalidate the fact that these are issues that are happening. They must be spoken about. They're not taboo anymore. If somebody is feeling low on a certain day, it's perfectly all right. One must speak up and get solutions to it. Never keep your issues to yourself, and also discuss these issues with reliable people, not with classmates, not with someone who's going to talk about it elsewhere. somebody with whom you can confide and feel confident to discuss.
When I read the National Education Policy 2020, I was quite impressed by the fact that it addressed a lot of the issues that we just now talked about and some of the issues that I personally had with the system. So I'm curious to know what your opinions are on this policy.
Definitely, the National Education Policy is a policy document that has been brought into existence after many years of research and ideologies have been put together. The smartest of brains have sat together, and it's not an overnight affair that the NEP came into existence. Many years, I think about 10 to 12 years or more than that, have been spent on bringing out that document. It's a policy document. So any policy document which is well researched definitely has positives in it. The biggest positive probably is attaching lesser importance to marks.
Yes.
Unfortunately, whatever we may say, we still rely on a certain score in the subjects, especially in the final examination or the board examinations, for us to see a future for ourselves. But am I what I score in grade 12, or am I a person who is a sum of what I have learned, my experiences that I have gained over 14 years of schooling? I think that is a bigger report card than the marks themselves. So if the NEP is focusing on that bigger report card, and it is, so that is where the change will, it will be a game change for everyone. So if schools are able to implement the NEP in the real sense, governments are able to put it into place in the real sense of the policy, in the true spirit of its policy, I think it would be a great advantage to young children, and it would definitely keep their mental well-being in mind, because I feel that this repeated examination, the culture of marks, going for tuitions to get more marks, is what is adding on to mental health issues. Because there are huge demands from both parents, from school, from the society, that everybody is topping the class. How could you top the class always? There has to be a topper, there has to be somebody in the middle range and somebody in the bottom line. So even if I get 99, I would still be unhappy because somebody's got a 99.2 probably. So that culture really requires change, and I think it is, the NEP will definitely help. And also the holistic development of children. It focuses a lot on experiential learning, on doing and learning rather than just learning by rote. The examination evaluation pattern has changed. So definitely I think if implemented over the years, it should bring positive results and bring happiness to children. One of the big major issues probably when I came in as a school and you asked as a challenge what it was, I found children were unhappy in the school, and that was one of the challenges that I faced. Making the school or transforming the school into a happy school. And today, touch wood, many people speak about DPS as a happy place. So it's a happy experience.
So in terms of the DPS community as a whole, so we have our fantastic students, we have really enthusiastic and amazing teachers, and we have exemplary parents who all come and play their part to support the school. So ma'am, if in particular you could go ahead and give one message to each of these groups, what would it be and why?
For the students, I would say that learn to be happy, keep your self-worth, work hard, work as per you, whatever you are capable of doing. You don't have to compare yourself with somebody else. And they must realize, students must realize there's no replacement for hard work. Whoever is doing whatever today in the world is not by chance. They've worked towards it. For the parents, I would say that do not pressurize your children into getting into this mark culture. I have to get into this particular foreign university, that particular foreign university. It's all right, focus on value building, character building. And even for students, I would say that there is no replacement for values. I've always harped on the fact that a good character, a good value system will see you through, not an education with just marks in it. And for the teachers, you have to keep upgrading yourself. There is no choice. As long as you are a learner, you are a teacher. So you continue to learn.
And ma'am, any specific message towards the parents who are tuning into this episode?
I'm sure they are the parents who are the enthusiastic parents who want to know what's happening at school. So we really appreciate all the parents who are our great strength and support. And it is always the education at any particular school is because of three pillars, that is the students, the teachers and the parents. Without them, we would be no one. So we deeply appreciate the support that they give to us and the feedback that they give.
Definitely not. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and your wise words. We definitely appreciated it a lot. And to our audience, thank you so much for watching. Please tune in next time for the next episode of Eloquence's podcast Unscripted. And until then, this is me, Daiwik, and Azhar, Jaleel, Muhammed signing off. Thank you.
God bless DPS.